So you tried couples therapy and it didn't work. Now what? Well, in today's video, I'm going to share with you 7 essential steps that everyone should take when couples therapy stops working for your relationship. Hi, I'm Valerie. As a licensed therapist and a relationship expert, I have spent over 10 years helping couples restore, repair, and reconnect. If you are struggling in your relationship, you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button right now and make sure you don't miss any of my tips and tricks for building a better marriage. And in today's video, we're going to talk about what you should do if couples therapy stops working. But first, a quick disclaimer. While I am a licensed therapist, I am not your therapist, and this video is for educational purposes only. So here's the hard truth. Unfortunately, couples therapy doesn't always work. Despite your best efforts, you might find that after months or even years, that couples therapy isn't helping you communicate or connect. And when that happens, it's really normal and natural to feel confused, frustrated, and even kind of scared. I mean, if couples therapy doesn't work, what are you supposed to do? Well, let's talk about that. Before you decide to call it quits on therapy or your relationship, I want you to take these 7 essential steps. Step number 1, talk to your partner. Share your feelings and your worries with your partner and try to identify what's going wrong. It's really important that you talk to your partner and that you and your partner figure out what's not working about therapy. I know if you're struggling with communication in your relationship, this can be a challenge, but don't be discouraged. Your partner might also feel like couples therapy isn't working, and it's really helpful if you two can talk it out together. Once you had time to talk to your partner about what's going wrong in couples therapy, then it's time to talk to your therapist. I know, it can feel kind of scary to talk to your therapist if you're unhappy with therapy. I mean, after all, it's really hard to turn to someone and say, hey, what you're doing, it's not working. But it's okay to do this. Your therapist is a neutral third party, and their purpose is to help you build and restore your relationship. I promise you, your therapist wants to know if you're not happy with the therapy. Bring your specific concerns to your therapist, and your therapist will help you process and understand what's going wrong. They might even have some ideas about how to fix things, but if your therapist doesn't know you're unhappy, they're not going to be able to help you make a change. After you've talked to your therapist, it might be time to start trying new approaches to couples therapy. There are hundreds of different approaches to helping couples, and every therapist specializes in something different. So do your research. Figure out what type of therapy your therapist has been doing, and really decide if that's the type of therapy that's right for you. You might find that a different type of couples therapy is really effective for your relationship. And if a different type of therapy works better for you, don't be scared to make a change. Some different types of therapy you might consider are Gottman method therapy, emotionally focused therapy, relational life therapy, discernment counseling. Quite honestly, the list is endless. And it's okay to ask your therapist for different referrals and recommendations and things for you to research and to try. But if you're feeling really burned out on therapy, or maybe you've tried different types of therapy and still feeling really stuck, it's okay to take a break. This is an essential step that I want to encourage you to take if it feels like couples therapy isn't working. When you're in the middle of therapy, it's really hard to see the big picture and to really step back and think about what's working and what isn't working and how it feels. And sometimes, like all of us, couples get burned out. If you are burned out and feeling discouraged, it is a-okay to take a break. Make sure that you talk about taking a break with your partner before you make any final decisions. Taking a break from therapy creates an amazing opportunity to spend more time, more effort, and more money on the positive things in your relationship. So go on dates, maybe take a vacation, do more fun things together. Use your break from therapy to do something really positive for your relationship and as a couple. If you've tried talking to your therapist, you've tried different types of therapy, and you've even decided to take a break, it might be a good sign that it's time to get some individual support. And when I say individual support, I mean individual therapy. It's amazing what individual therapy can do for a relationship. After all, when it comes to making a change in your relationship, in your marriage, the only person you actually have control over is you. You might be surprised about how your own thoughts, actions, behaviors are affecting your partner and your relationship. So it's okay to take some individual time and to work with an individual therapist to explore more about how you show up in your relationship and how that affects the problems in your marriage. If you're not really sure where to get started, ask your couples therapist for a recommendation. Oftentimes, couples therapists have individual therapists that they work with, that they really like, and that who also specialize in helping people work through relationship problems. So if you need a referral, talk to your couples therapist. Whether you're in individual therapy or taking some time to reflect on your own, the next step I want you to take if couples therapy isn't working is to reevaluate your expectations. Take some time and think about what are your real expectations of therapy, what are your real expectations of your relationship, and what are your expectations of your partner? Sometimes we have these hidden expectations or these unspoken expectations of relationships, of partners that, quite frankly, are just not realistic. So it can be really helpful to step back and ask yourself, what am I expecting? Is what I'm expecting reasonable? Is it reasonable for the stage of life that we're in? Is what I'm expecting realistic? And is this something that I think my partner can actually give me without changing who they are? Remember, it's always okay to ask your partner to change what they do, but it's really hard to ask them to change who they are. And last but not least, the final step I encourage everyone to take is to try couples therapy again. And I get it, this is hard. You've spent a lot of time and a lot of money, and maybe you don't feel like you've made any progress. At the same time, it's really important to make one more try in your relationship once you've completed all these other steps. And I want to assure you, you do not have to go back to the same therapist. If couples therapy didn't work for you the first time around and you didn't like your therapist or you didn't think they were super effective, try someone new. It is amazing what a different approach can do to changing your relationship, to changing how you feel, and to helping you fix the problems in your marriage. So if you've tried couples therapy and it just feels like it hasn't worked, I want you to try these 7 essential steps. Step number 1, talk to your partner. Talk to your partner and figure out what's not working in therapy and try to get down to the root cause of the problem. Step number 2, talk to your therapist. Share your fears and concerns with your therapist and see if they have any ideas. Step number 3, try a different approach to couples therapy. There are hundreds of different modalities or different approaches to couples therapy. And what works for one couple doesn't work for every couple. It's quite possible that you've been using a method of therapy that just doesn't work for you. Step number 4, take some time away from therapy to focus on the positive things in your relationship and to have more fun with your partner. Step number 5, consider individual therapy. Take some time to reflect on what you're doing in your relationship and how you might make a change to that. Step number 6, reevaluate your expectations of marriage and of your partner. They might not be realistic and they might not be helpful. And last but not least, step number 7, give therapy one more try. Just because it didn't work the first time doesn't mean that it won't work, especially if you try a different approach or you try working with a different person. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you found it helpful. If you are struggling to communicate with your partner and therapy is not working for you, I want you to download my free fair fighting checklist. This is going to help you communicate with your partner and stop the endless cycle of fighting in your relationship. You might be surprised at how much it helps. Stay tuned for more videos and I'll talk to you soon.